Eric Shire here to present the top 100 gaps or omissions from Western science and philosophy. Forgive the tooth, by the way. We're working on that. Number one, language is determined not just by genetics and culture. It's determined by physics. That's why you have nouns and verbs in language corresponding respectively to matter and energy. A concrete noun is matter, and an action verb expends energy. You cannot possibly have an advanced civilization that can communicate with each other about day-to-day survival matters unless it has nouns and verbs. That's gap number one. There's not two things, but three that determine language: genetics, culture, and physics. Okay, that was gap number 199, is that this similarity, this structural similarity between physics and language also exists between physics and language and information. Okay? Information of a discrete nature can be thought of as data, and there's an algorithm that acts on data. In other words, computation, computer programming, you have an algorithm acting on data, and the algorithm, when it's written in a high-level language, is written in commands that take the form of verbs. You tell a computer, okay, complement the accumulator, square such and such a number, add 2 to it. Okay, there's always a verb. And it's because the computer programming language is not that different from a natural language in this respect. The data is the nouns, and the commands are the verbs. Okay, that's gap number 99. Language, physics, and information all have this common structure of substance and process, or passive and active. Okay, that's 99. 98 is that there's a certain temporality inherent in all three cases. Energy expenditures are renownedly temporal. That's why you have something called power, which is the rate in time for expending energy, or the rate in time at which energy is expended. Now, if you look at verbs, verbs are very much temporal. More to the point, they're tensed. If you do something, you do it in time, and there is a tense corresponding to whether that time is future, past, or present, or there's a few other alternatives. Computer programming commands like add or complement or square or whatever, or write, are also temporal. They are also tensed. Which tense? Present tense with a computer, always, because the computer commands are imperative. Do this, add this, square that, blah, blah, blah. And imperative verbs are always in the present tense. Okay, that's gap number 98, that there's temporality inherent in information, language, and physics. And we'll have a heck of a lot more to say about that. For now, I would like to talk about time by introducing gap number 96. Okay, gap number 96 is that time is so utterly different from anything else in the universe that it's plausible to separate all human inquiry and all human knowledge into the study of time, the study of everything else. Okay, Why is time so utterly different? Well, there's a few reasons. I'm on my job now. I'm in a limo. I'm looking around. I'm probably illegally, parked or something. But forgive my distractions. Fortunately, I've put enough thought in this that I can pretty much do it even when I'm being distracted from something else. So, getting back to time, you have everything else. Okay, that's how different time is from everything else in the universe. There are discussions of time and its various properties and how it got that way, blah, blah, blah. But I have never seen one that acknowledges the utter uniqueness of time in certain respects that I will get into. Um, okay, the main thing about time is that it's where change takes place. That's been noticed by the likes of, I think, Aristotle, Kant, and a whole bunch of people noticed that. I don't know if they were aware of each other, but they were certainly aware that change occurs in time. Um, so if I'm driving, my spatial position may be 60 miles away from where I am now in 1 hour. Or if I'm going at a different speed, it may only be 30 miles away, maybe 10 miles away. But what time will it be in 1 hour? It will be 1 hour from now. There's no choice in the matter. 1 hour from now, it can only be 1 hour from now, at least from my own perspective. And I'm ignoring any issues of time, dilation and such. That occur in like special relativity or general relativity, because those involve some third party. I'm not talking about a third party. I'm just talking about me or whoever. 1 hour from now on my clock, the only time it can possibly be is 1 hour from now. Anything else can have any of several possible values. My position an hour from now can be any of like 20 different things. The color of the traffic light 1 hour from now can be any of 3 different things. But the time 1 hour from now can only be one thing. Okay, that's what makes time, that's part of what makes time unique. That would be gap 96. Okay, gap 95 is going to be about time's direction. Okay, a renownedly popular topic. And time doesn't really have a direction per se. It's simply, the parameter relative to which everything else is defined or gauged or measured or characterized. You can say that events unfold unidirectionally. That is, events have one direction. At least there's some coherence in that, but even there, that's only relative to an observer. The reason I say so is that the human mind juxtaposes the present moment with the moments immediately before. And it does so for reasons pertaining to survival. If you know the immediate past of an object, then you can predict its immediate future. If a bear is running at you and has been running at you for the last 3 seconds and is continuing to run at you right now, then what's it going to be doing for the next 3 seconds? Well, it's a fair bet it's going to continue running in your direction. This is of obvious survival value, and I think that's why our minds are so good at sequencing temporal moments in such a way that we can observe the world as events unfolding in one direction. Okay, that's the flow of time. All right, this has been coming up on 10 minutes, And we got through gaps number 100, 99, 98, 97, and 96. That's not bad. 5 and 10 minutes. I'm going to try to do all 100. The emphasis here, hopefully, is on stuff that's original. At least I try to make it original. I try to make my, my spiels stuff that you don't find somewhere else. Although if you look hard enough, who knows? You might find it somewhere else. I'm Eric Shire. I appreciate your watching. Please tune in for gaps number 11 to 20 coming up. Thank you.